The other day, I was at the DMV. I was waiting for my number to be called so that I could renew my motorcycle license. And I was sitting next to what I supposed was a mom and her daughter. And the mom was consoling the daughter because apparently, from the conversation that I couldn't help but overhear since I was sitting right next to them, the daughter had failed her driving test and she was distraught. But the mom was doing her best to cheer her daughter up. Don't worry, you'll pass next time. We'll make another appointment. You can practice more often. And she started to tell her daughter stories about how everybody needs to try things a few times before they get it right. And she started to share some memories from her home experience and from her experience about times when you have to go through life and try something a few times before you get it right. And it reminded me of a seminar based on two-directional memory shaping, how you can use your memory to shape your future. Because the core idea in the seminar was that memory is not something that is set in stone. Memory is not like the information that is stored on your computer where it comes up exactly the same every time. Memory is very, very augmentable. Memory is very, very malleable. And we went into a little bit, evolutionarily speaking, why this is. Because we used to live in a collective group. We're much more of a hive mind than individuals like we like to believe because of Western philosophy in the past 500 years. We used to be a collective entity that had to solve problems with collective thinking and collective storytelling and collective idea generation and collective memory, which means we used to share memories with each other. If you were a caveman and you could borrow some successful memories from your fellow caveman and that could help you be a better caveman, that would be an evolutionarily programmable thing that would end up in your instincts. So understanding how this works, you can leverage the programmability of your own memory to create a better future. Most people live their lives in some kind of a loop, either a success loop or a doom loop. If you're lucky, you stay in a success loop. But even successful people, they bounce back and forth between the success loop and the doom loop. And when they notice they're in a doom loop, they say things like, I need to break out of the rut. I need to break my slump. I need to get back into a winning streak. And success loops are success loops because they shape your confirmation bias. You go through life, you have success, that makes you remember your past successes. And because you can naturally remember your past successes, this shapes your confirmation bias. So your confirmation bias filters the world. So you see the world as more opportunities for success. And that creates more success. And when you have more success in your current times, that will help you to remember past successes in your memories, which will further augment and shape and validate your confirmation bias, which keeps this success loop going. But the same thing happens in a doom loop. You have a failure, which makes you remember your failures, which makes your confirmation bias say, be careful of failures out into the world, and you can get stuck in this doom loop. Now, people that are generally successful, they kind of have an internal calibration system where they know the difference between whether or not you're in a success loop or whether or not you're in a doom loop. And once they recognize they're in a doom loop, and this might take a couple of days, they realize I need to snap out of this. So they purposely change how they think. They purposely change how they reference the world. They take control of their confirmation bias, and they, by hook or by crook, they shift from the doom loop into the success loop. This is one common trait of successful people. But a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people just kind of end up where they end up. But when you purposely augment your memory, you can do this in a couple of ways. You can purposely, deliberately look back in your past and find positive memories. Take whatever you'd like to get in your future, and every night before you fall asleep, Deliberately look back into your past for the memories that will project you into the positive future, and this will help keep you on the success loop side of things and away from the doom loop side of things. The other way you can use this technique, this memory shaping technique, this memory augmentation technique, is how to ask other people questions. Because based on how you ask people questions, you can reference the memories they come up with in their brain, whether they are doom loop memories or whether they are success memories. And if you want to persuade people, if you want to seduce people, all you have to do is first think of the action you'd like them to take, and then come up with the memories that you would like to lead into that action, the memories that will naturally lead into that action, like help them to remember times of great agency, of great decision-making success, of great adventurous decision-making, and ask questions that fire up these memories, and that will lead them into a much more productive future. And if you calibrate that productive future so it matches up exactly with what you'd like them to do, you can be extremely persuasive. You can be extremely seductive only by asking questions, which is why this one guy at this seminar was a guest speaker, and he said he figured out a series of questions to ask girls, and all he did was introduce himself in a bar or a club or a social situation and say, "Excuse me, you seem very, very interesting. I'm curious about you. Would it be okay if I asked you a few questions?" And most of the time they would say yes, and he would ask them these questions, and they would love to answer these questions because these questions were about them. These questions were about good things that they had done in their past. And he specifically asked these questions that put together this background story that led into a successful future. And that successful future were these girls making the decision for their own reasons to seduce him. And so simply by asking the right questions in the right order to anybody that you meet, they will make the decision on their own to fall in love with you and do all the work to seduce you. Now, I don't know if this is something that you'd like to do. I don't know what your past experiences are. I don't know if you're in a relationship or not. I don't know if this is something that you might even consider doing. But if you did consider to do this, imagine what that might be like. Imagine what that might be to walk up to a stranger and figure out beforehand what you'd like that stranger to do, and then ask them a series of questions to elicit the perfect memories in their past that will line up perfectly with that future that you have already preordained for them. This is very, very powerful stuff, which is why this old seminar teacher didn't really teach this very much after the fact, because too many people were abusing this. Anyhow, that's the video for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.